Well everyone, let's call this video the 90 or green corolla is coming along. Of course it is a 95. Definitely better than it was. Here's the old door. I still need to take back to the junkyard. That's why I haven't put it into the yard. It's just one that has a huge dent here, and also the frame was also bent out of shape just enough where the seal won't line up with the body. So it's junk. The guy at the junkyard though said he wanted the door for the regulator and the glass, so he can have it. He's a good man. Kind of a funny story. I bought this blue door for it, and he said I went back to pay him for it a couple days later because usually lets me bring stuff home and pay for it a little bit later. He says, "You owe me money? I didn't know that." Huh. It wasn't just for the door, it was the alternator for that, since that one's starting to fail. And, you know, a couple other things. Driver's side mirror. He didn't even remember. Anyways, one thing it needs eventually is tires. They have okay tread for around here. Probably not for snow, but enough tread for probably another season. But they are rotten. Come on. I don't know if the camera's going to want to focus, but it has a bunch of cracks, but it should be good for a year. The front tires are actually pretty decent. So, yeah. I ordered a corner light. It should be here next week. I replaced the wiper arm from the prism since this one was broken off. Never saw that happen before, but here's the old one. I also saved the driver's side one just in case I ever need it. For whatever reason, I've always liked cars where the paint was just totally screwed from like the sun. That tire's okay. Ah, looks like the clear coat's peeling right here. In here, never noticed that. Can you believe I had this keychain's been sitting on the hook for the last 10 years. Got it at a thrift store in like 2001 and I haven't used it. Been sitting on the hook since 2001 probably, maybe a little bit later or earlier. Inside still needs to be vacuumed. I'm going to do that a little bit later today. Of course the mileage hasn't changed. I definitely like the Corolla's interior by a mile. The Prism's is just so boring. The Prism doesn't have a place for a clock. Oh yeah, I bought a clock for it too for $5 from some junkyard in Watsonville. Like I said, it needs to be vacuumed. Ooh, it even has cup holders. The Prism actually has a good cup holder. I'll just swap that. And yeah. This video is like totally pointless, but I'm going to post it anyways. And as for the motor, everyone said it sounded like a starter, and after I watched the video I posted of it, I also thought it sounded like the clicky starter problem, but I had my brother crank it over, and I watched the pulleys, and the pulleys were moving a little bit, so that tells me the starter's engaging, and the motor probably is screwed. So, nonetheless, I have a motor. We took the motor out of the Prism. As you can see, there's a big hole down there. not that big of a deal. It's a lot easier when you unhook all the motor mounts. We forgot to unhook one by the firewall. And here it is. Of course, we don't get it rain for a fucking month and a half. Hey, a Ford Ranger. Ford Nissan Chevy. Like that. Yeah, we didn't get rain for a fucking month and a half. And as soon as I have engine sand on the ground, we get 6 inches of rain. So now there's a bunch of sand and shit in the alternator. And, you know, corrosion everywhere, but oh well. It's honestly no big deal. I'm sure the internals are okay. As long as we don't got, yeah, the oil's not cocky, so it's all fine. Hopefully the fuel injectors aren't screwed because they're all covered in water. So yeah, perfect engine. And yes, it is the orange can of death. The only reason we used it is because this oil filter is actually 10 years old. We bought it for the Tercel, but we never used it. And from what I've been told, these oil filters weren't that bad 10 years ago. Their quality dropped probably within the last 5. So the receipt says from 2003. And we'll probably have to swap the distributor because it might still be okay. But I'm probably going to swap it anyways. And that's pretty much about it. We're going to have to take the thermostat housing out the donor, out the parts engine, swap it on here because I accidentally broke this. I was putting the fan switch back on. Trying to diagnose the fan problems on this. Didn't end up fitting after all that. And it also needs a steering rack. It's probably one of the reasons they didn't fix it, because the steering rack's like $300. And yeah, and it's really hard to get onto unless you have the engine out. So I'm just going to take the one from the Prism since that's super tight. And this one has like 1 inch of plate in it. It has more plate than the Mercedes. I'll show you guys. That is all play. It's also making some weird noises too. See? That is 100% play. I wouldn't want to drive around with the steering rack like that. I'm glad I noticed I had a plate before we took the engine out and put it in. So much easier to take it out with the, hey, a Subaru. Sound probably the 2.5 liter. That are known to low head gaskets. So that's probably about it. Kind of work it needs and work that's been done. So I guess I'll post an update. I guess I'll post a video trying to start the motor. We're gonna do it this weekend. So anyways, over and out.